good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in. In a Menudo Style direct fashion, we're going to get into it. But before we get into the content of the day, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all like this, ding, so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support I'm getting, man. We're going up and it's all because of you. I'm humbled. Thank you very much. So here's some breaking news as the saga continues, man. And this is confirmed. This is the real. It doesn't get no realer than this. Last night, I'm laying down, watching some Bad Girls Club, doing my own thing, just my program, right? After I done smacked back a whole plate of tacos, overdid it, but I did it, right? And somebody reaches out to me. And I confirm it, man. I haven't talked to this individual for a long time, for a minute. And he gives me the true rundown of what exactly 100%, I'll stamp it, is actually going on up to date with Danny Masterson, right? Now, I've been doing a lot of Danny Masterson videos, kind of updates to kind of guide people and take them through this journey that this guy's going through. Now, he's only been in prison less than a month, right? But there's a lot going on with this guy. There's a lot of people that are cheerleading, that are fuckboying, that are fanning, that want to see him hurt or want to see him safe, right? Whatever side of the fence you are on when it comes to this guy, something's going on. But here is the real. You're only going to get it here in exclusive right here on the collective clips, man. So I talked to somebody who is that one on this particular yard, right? And he tells me everything that we've heard, everything that people have been saying, throw that out the window. Okay, is he growing tits? That still might be happening, right? But Danny Masterson is back on the yard. In fact, Danny Masterson never left the yard. He was escorted from R&R right to a building. Now, he is on what you would call a 90 days, a probational period. He just got there. He's still considered a fish, right? He's still considered a new inmate, so he doesn't have all of his property yet. And hey, I know this to be true because it does take a while for you to get your property. They have to go through it when you're transferred. And he wouldn't have much property anyways coming from reception. You know, so he doesn't have his property. He is confined to a single man cell, but 100% he is on the yard. He is not in the medical facility building. He is not in the EOP building. He is not nowhere else but on that fucking yard, right? Now, he does have a single man cell. And this is coming from the horse's mouth itself, okay? From someone that actually escorted this guy on that yard. So I can tell you this right now. This is what the feelings are on that yard, coming from every different angle and every different perspective. There's a lot of people that don't want him to be on that yard, and not because they hate him or they want to do something to him or something's going to happen to him. It's because it's just an aggravating factor. It's just some more bullshit. When someone high priority or high notoriously known comes to a yard, from an officer standpoint, I could understand, here we go again. What's going to happen? Nobody wants to do paperwork. Nobody wants to be involved in his shenanigans and his bullshit. So from a fucking CO's perspective, who I talked to, absolutely, right, says that he was escorted to the fucking yard. Now, of course, this is not the general population yard. This is a SNY yard in Corcoran State Prison. Okay, Corcoran's very well known for being one of the hardest prisons. I did function at Corcoran Prison when it was active, right? But the yard that he is on is an SNY yard, a sensitive needs yard. For those that don't know what SNY means, because there's a lot of people that watch me from out of state. In the state of California, you have different types of yards. You have the general population yard, GP, which is your traditional prison yard. And the DNA in California is it's ran by COs, but really ran by the prison gangs or the people that are there. They're going to dictate the program. And of course, you have to have certain crimes, certain characteristics. You have to have a clean jacket to be on these yards. Now, people do wiggle and slide by depending on what group you're from, but paperwork is checked. Usually, if you have a bad case, especially like Danny Masterson's and R on your jacket, you're not going to fucking be able to wiggle on GP past R&R. R&R is the receiving building when you first get there. In any prison that you ever go to in any state, there's going to be an R&R building. And that's when you pull up, man. They're going to give you your state-issued fish kit, your clothing, your fucking bedroll. And then, of course, that's where they're going to figure out where they're going to house you. Most of the time, they'll take you straight to your building or your dorm, depending upon the point system or where your points stand. But 9 times out of 10, in California, they'll put you in ad sec on overflow until a bed opens up. Because for some reason, they like to transfer people before they even got a bed for them. That's just the way California rolls, man. I've been to a lot of prisons, and it seems like every time I pulled up, I had to go to ad sec for a couple days, for at least 7 days, until they shot me out to the yard, whether it was mainline, active, or non-active. That's just how it was, right? For me, my personal experiences. So Danny Masterson did go through the same shit. So while everybody was talking about rumors, and I was hearing a lot of this and that and presidential pardons and governor pardons, and I know I did a video talking about presidential pardons, and people were like, well, it's a state case, only Newsom could do it, right? I know what I'm talking about. I'm educated enough to understand that, but at the same time, also, you have to realize that the president, if he signs an executive order, he can let anyone out. He could do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and that's just what it is. They could veto it and shut it down, but if he wants to do that, he can do that. Now, as far as his lawyer petitioning, I've seen it with my own eyes. That is in the works, right? Will it happen? I highly doubt it. But for a lot of people that are saying, okay, man, he wanted to play the role and go to this fucking medical facility and play that role, I seen that as a way to do that, and that was the word on the curb, that's what he did. And he was, for 3 days, placed for evaluation in a medical situation because he did ask to go there. Now, usually it's a 10-day shot. You sit there in the suicide watch for 10 days before they shoot you back to the yard. But from what I'm hearing, he just said he was suffering depression and just different things were going through his mind. As far as letting the officers actually know that he wanted to off himself, that was never the case. I talked to somebody who told me, this man is on the regular SNY yard. Now, he said, as far as what people are saying about him and the rumors that are going around, will someone hurt him or hit him? Just like any other prisoner that has a bad case, there's always that option. There's always a chance that that might happen. But he says he's been watching YouTube, and that's why he wanted to reach out to me, because he sees I'm keeping up with the saga and the update, and it's been a minute since we chopped game, right? And he says, bro, a lot of this shit that you're hearing on YouTube is bullshit. It's rumors and lies. People that are just fucking carrying on this saga in order to gain views or acknowledgement or whatever. And I said, well, I'm doing that, right? But I'm taking it from what I'm hearing, and I'm just letting the people kind of know the history of what's going on from my viewpoint, right? From my perspective. And he says, and that's why I come fuck with you, because you put a good twist on it, because you know what's up. So for those that believe that he's growing fucking chi-chis and trying to be a woman, now this individual told me that might still be an option. You know, it might be that he might try to go that route. But again, he also told me there's no way in hell possibly that they would ever transfer this guy to a woman's facility because of his case factors, the R on his jacket, and also because it's very odd and it doesn't really happen. He says he's never seen it happen, and he's seen a lot of motherfuckers try every tactic to get away from a yard. He is placed on that yard, and there's an addendum on his fucking C-file that says, of course, he's to be monitored closely, and he has case factors. That means that he is probably going to be a threat to that yard. Not that he's going to be a threat, but that other people feel a certain way about him, so there could be a threat impending when it comes to him. Now, I asked him about the GBGs, right? And he said there are no GBGs on that yard where he is at, so that isn't even a threat to him. He says that this yard that he is on is Charmin, very soft, and it is a work facility where most of these guys are in a PIA capacity. They work, and a lot of them aren't even sweating him. That there's guys with way worse crimes than Danny Masterson could even think about. Right? He needs to watch out before they drug him on that yard and do something bad to him, rather than him doing anything to somebody. So I was flabbergasted, blown away, hearing it from the horse's mouth exactly what's going on with them. He says this is the way it went down. Danny Masterson pulled up to R&R. They, of course, immediately put him in a cage, segregated from everyone, because they knew who he was. They were waiting on him. And it's just like I've told a lot of people before. When you go to prison, the COs already know who's coming. They have a fucking roster of exactly who's rolling up. So they knew he was being transferred from Kern Valley, or from, Delano. He was pulling up. They seen his name. His name is Daniel Peter Master. I can't even say this fucker's name. His name is Daniel Peter Masterson. When he pulled up to this facility, of course, he was segregated because they didn't want an issue to arise. And, you know, when someone comes in like this that has money and it's considered a fucking high-power case, these cops are going to do whatever they can, not to facilitate his comfort and to look out for him, but they're going to look out for themselves so they don't have to do paperwork. They don't want an issue, right? They don't want to get sued. They don't want drama. This is what's coming from the guy that told me this last night. And I can confirm he really is somebody in the Corcoran yard. He says he did that. They placed him in administrative segregation on overflow, just like I would think, for a few days pending transfer to a bed. At this point in time, he did request medical attention because he was having anxiety and depression. He did go to the medical facility for 3 days for evaluation. At no point in time did this guy ever say that he was going to take his life. He sat there, paced a lot. He says he was monitored 24 hours a day and deemed by the fucking doctor to go back to the yard. Everything was cool. He was placed from that medical facility or the medical ward right there, right back into the administrative segregation, which is the hole, right? Overflow for another couple of days until just recently he was released to the yard. Now, he is single man cell. This is a fact, 100%. He does not have a cellie. Okay, and he is not able to go onto the yard for some reason. I don't know how it works on that fucking particular yard, but he is not getting the option to go to yard yet. Or maybe he just doesn't want to go to yard. I don't know. From what I told, he's single man celled and he's not going to the yard. Okay, that's it. He does go to shower. He has been on the tier. Nobody has made a move on him. Like this fucking guy told me, he goes, bro, trip out. There's dudes in there for the most sickest shit. I don't even like working in that motherfucker, but it's good hazard pay, right? He said there's a lot of people there that make his shit look like crumbs. You know, and I thought that in the beginning. I know that Danny Masterson is popular right now. His name is popularized and everybody's talking about it. But really at the end of the day, man, I've been on prison yards where, you know, there's people that are famous, people that are in there for killing famous people, rappers. You know, I've done time with X-Rated. I did time with Flesh and Bone. I've done time with people that were on movies, bit actors. I've seen a little bit of it all. There's no way you're going to go in the California prison system and not run into someone that's well known, whether it be Suge Knight, Sirhan Sirhan, whatever, man, depending upon what yard you go to. A lot of people think that all these actors and popular people and famous people go to these SNY yards, but they've been going pre-SNY, before there was any SNY yards, to the main lines for years. Okay, protective custody back in the days were only for the people with the most hardcore sex crimes and weird shit like that, and gang dropouts. There wasn't in the 90s, there wasn't no SNY. In fact, when SNY was started, then a lot of people took advantage of them yards and started to go there in an abundance of numbers. And the reason is because they wanted to converse with people that were of like-mindedness, and also because they seen it as a way to go to somewhere where they were protected and then they could start their shenanigans and bullshit over there. Anyways, right now in the state of California, there's a transition happening. No, we're not talking about Danny Masterson transitioning into fucking Mila Kunis. We're talking about guys that are that have been on these SNY yards for decades and a very long time are being transitioned and integrated back into what would be considered integrated yards. Now, this has happened for a long time. It started on the 1 and 2 yards. And for the most part, those are programming yards anyways, people that got short time and are going home. Now, slowly but surely, it's leaking off into these 3 yards. But I can tell you right now, the 3/4 yards, man, or even the 4 yards period, it's going to be a rough ride. It's probably not going to happen because there's a lot of people that don't like a lot of people and they're going to make shit fucking crack. So that's going to be a hard one. And before it even gets there and really becomes a statewide thing, there's going to be bodies we hear about. And that's just real. So according to this guy, and I picked his mind and his brain on everything because I don't really get to talk to this individual much. It's been a long time since he reached out. It's been a long time. He shouldn't have left me without some real G shit to step to. I said, step two, to step 2, right? So I was like, damn, bro, where you been? He said, bro, I've just been working. So I was like, Danny Masterson, huh? Has he got fucked yet? And he said, nah, not yet. He goes, that's quite a possibility. Now, let's just keep it real now. No more saga and bullshit and drama and lies that are being told on the internet. right? So let's cut and dry, just uncut, raw, keep it real when I tell you he is on the yard. Now I call it a main line, but it's a main line in the S&Y yard. So basically he's on the big yard, right? Is something bad gonna happen to him? I honestly, truly believe whatever happens to him is what could happen to anyone in his position. I don't think he's going to get nothing extra. I don't think he's going to get anything TMZ worthy, right? I don't think people are going to fucking book him right when he gets to the yard. Now, I've done a lot of videos talking about his situation. But again, like I told you, the guy said there's no GBGs there. If this was even a green light that was put on him by the GBGs. I've heard it and had it confirmed by a lot of people that they were tripping lightweight on him. But again, they might have fell back and decided that if for no other reason that dude wasn't worth it, or just put it out there, you know, that they were feeling some type of way about him. Now, of course, like I said, this guy confirmed there is no active or alleged GBGs on the yard. That doesn't mean there isn't. That just means there's no documented GBGs on that yard. And even if there was, from what I'm hearing, fucking Danny Masterson knows he's a black belt in ninjutsu, right? So he can ninja his way up out there, man, and do like Splinter and fucking, you know, wax on, wax off. He can do the Mr. Miyagi. I think he'll be all right. My honest opinion, I think he's going to get right into the flow of things. I think the more content creators like myself and everyone else that keeps this going and kind of keeps the updates with Danny Masterson, because it's the popular thing to do right now, is only putting his name out there more. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've never been the type of person to put anyone in a position to get hurt. I don't like it, man. It's not a good thing. It's not a good look. But at the end of the day, man, people are concerned with this guy. People are concerned with the saga and the story. So I felt that I should dig deep, man. I was so happy that this individual reached out to me to give me the real, so that way I can give you guys the real without sugarcoating and adding preservatives. No more bullshit. Okay, he got tits. They're down to hair with hair on them. He got some liver all over. You know what I mean? This ain't a Scarface movie. Now, have I heard he's transitioning to a woman? I heard that, of course, was an option. And I asked him point blank, is this vato going to get his chorra chopped off? He said, listen, we've heard about that. Okay, whether that he talked to the medical staff and he was involved in a conversation to go that route, that's classified, homie. That's medical, that's client, doctor privilege. They wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that until his weenie is gone, right? He says, we're not going to keep up to date on how many balls a guy has. It just is what it is. When we tell him to squat and cough and we notice there's no balls, okay, he's one of them. He says, until then, we don't get into that, bro. They'll let us know when they let us know. I said, okay, so we're going to dispel that rumor. So does he want to fucking take his life, man? Is that what he says? Again, man, not that they've heard of. A lot of this stuff is client, doctor privilege. He said, but if that was the case, yes, man, it's a fact. He would have been in the suicide watch for over 10 days. He goes, it's just like potty watch. You know, we have a certain amount of days to watch you guys. He goes, it's the same thing, bro, but they have 10 days. I said, yeah, well, I heard he was on day 10, right? And he goes, no. 3 days he stood in the medical because he was having anxiety. And of course, who wouldn't? When you're first rolling up to prison, everybody has anxiety. If you're not an old school convict that's been doing time since the 70s, and you're a youngster or someone who's a first termer, you're going to be a little anxious. You're going to be wondering, especially someone in his position with an R on his jacket, a sexual deviant man, or someone who they have deemed that, you know, you're getting to a facility, especially an old school prison like Corcoran, people are going to be staring at you and making you feel a little anxious. So I can understand his situation. Again, I can't identify with anyone who does weird shit to women, but I could identify with the fact of rolling up to a prison and being new. Everyone has to go through that point at one time in their life if you're fucking incarcerated. So the fucking fact of the matter is, without anyone saying no bullshit, I'm telling you, this is straight from a CO that's there right now, right? That dude is back on the yard, okay? All the other bullshit are fucking lies, and they're giving you fucking game. And I've been bamboozled a few times too myself, because it's intriguing. It's entertainment. We want to know exactly what's going on with this guy. Is he really fucking going to go ass out backwards and get his chorra chopped off and identify as a woman to stay away from, you know, what's going on? There is no options. There is no hiding from the yard. Eventually, he's going to have to go where he fraternizes with people, unless, I told you a long time ago, he is placed in the PHU. Now, I asked about that, best believe. I said, bro, are they considering putting him in the PHU? Have you heard anything? He said, bro, we don't get that right there. Is classified. That's Fort Knox shit. We would never know if it happened until it happened. I would not be the one escorting that guy to the PHU. There are certain officers that have access to the PHU and none of them know about each other and no one talk about it. He says the PHU is a very classified thing. It's like a UFO on this fucking yard, right? We don't even know who's all in there. When they do count time, they have their own separate count time. I was like, damn, right? Like that. He said, these guys are very protected. He could see him possibly ending up in the PHU because of his case factors and because of who he is. He says, but then it's going to take a lot more than just word of mouth or money to get you there, man. You know, it's going to take trauma. It's going to take the administration taking a good look at his case factors and deciding that he would better be housed there. Until then, he is housed on the regular yard in the SNY, the sensitive needs yard. And for those of you that don't know what a sensitive needs yard is, he has a sensitive need. Okay, he had his case factors say that he needs to be in PC. SNY is just a lightweight, different type of word used for protective custody, right? See, there's different custody levels. There's medium custody, max custody, close custody, and of course, there's protective custody. He is in the lowest of the low, but having the highest points. So he is a 4-yard, level 4 points, protective custody inmate. So that means he's monitored a little bit more. You know, he's placed on these softer yards where a lot of the guys have the same type of fucking charges as him. But of course, we all know in these SNY yards in the state of California, they've been influxed or infused with gang members, dropout gang members from previous gangs that have in fact joined other gangs on these SNY yards that make the reality of being a weirdo a little harsh, right? That are taking out the trash and taking care of business and fighting amongst their own. So there are several murders, several fucking things that occur on SNY yards. In fact, you know, if you look at the census and what's going on, SNY yards have popped off way more than general population yards. And that doesn't mean there's harder individuals there or crazier individuals. It means it's the wild, wild west when there is no structure and no one to tell you exactly how to program and what to do. The vatos are going to pop off and do what they does because whenever they feel like it, oh, bro, they're going to handle their business like Whack 100 doesn't, right? And that's just it. So anyways, with that being said, that's the truth. He's back on the yard. Again, he's single man cell. This is a fact. I talked to someone and he was escorted from the fucking medical facility in the ADSEG straight to a building. Now, I'm sure in that building, there are people that come in and out. So I'm sure he has communication with people. I believe if something was going to really happen to him, people already had action. Nothing's going to happen to him. Not right off the top. Will he get into fucking wrecks and things along the way? I believe so. Will people see him as a trophy and try to handle business? Perhaps, man. I know that prisons I've been to, man, if you're considered a trophy, vatos are going to get on your headpiece. So he better keep his shit on exorcist and swivelization because there are going to be those that want to get off on him for no other reason than they can, right? But do I think he's going to be all right? I do. Honestly, I do. I think they found the softest, charminest, smoothest, pillowiest place that they could put him, and that's where he's at. And according to who I talked to, he said, these fools ain't doing shit out here, bro. He said, we haven't had a fight in fucking months. I said, what? For reals? I said, damn, in Corcoran? He said, come on, bro. This ain't Corcoran. They call this Porkran, right? I was like, damn. He said, they be fucking more. And he said, there's more people that go to the hole for inmate relationships than they do stabbings. I was like, damn. The game has changed. He said, literally. Anyways, with that being said, there it is there, man. That's the breaking news. That's the real right there. Oh, Danny Masterson got tits growing on the back of his neck, right? He's not a mutant, bro. He's just a regular person with a bad case. He's gotten his appeal coming and whatever. And we'll see what happens to him. If he does get whacked on the yard or something bad happens to him, of course, man, I'm going to get some breaking news. I'm locked in with the homie now. I want all the updates. And you know what it is. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And don't believe everything that you hear on YouTube. Don't even believe me half the time, right? I try to give it to you guys the best I can, but this is real, man. He's just on the regular SNY. That's what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people and providing the best possible content I can while here on YouTube, man. It's just what I do. Again, man, my prayers for the people in Kansas City. That was crazy. If you haven't watched the video that I dropped, watch it. It's some knowledge you can't get in college. And I appreciate all the support I'm getting. Thank you guys so much. As far as Gunners Collective TV, the big channel, again, man, I will be dropping several shorts over there. I'm trying to get this one up to par. So let's get this channel banging, because this is where I will exclusively drop a whole bunch of banging videos for a while now. Bang, bang. The gun.